Well, welcome to Wells World of Whiskey, and I'm definitely going to do a quick one tonight because I just finished a long bike ride, and it's a hot one today, and I worked on top of that. So this one here is an interesting one. Like I say, I've told you I've got a lot of whiskeys I want to be able to get at, but it takes time. I'm working. I like to play. It's paddleboard time of the year. I'm still cycling. I'll get to them eventually, but I don't know how you other reviewers do it, but all the reviewers I watch, do they have more time than I do? I don't know. Anyways, this one here, it's been in the cupboard a while. I have sampled it. It did get some mixed reviews as the Laphroaig 10 Cask Strength Batch 15. As it carries on from the previous batch, which was the first one I'd actually tried Cask Strength. And so this one here was bottled in December 21st, and it was aged. Certainly an improvement over the Select, but there was some mixed reviews. Ralphie had, he was doing pretty good, and then toward the end, Ralphie, well, I'll get into what his concern was. If you've watched it, you know already. I didn't see Jeff G's, but there was a reference to Jeff G as to one of his reviews. Whiskey Lock, he kind of gave it a B+. Trini and C, I don't know, I don't think I saw theirs. So, anyways, Roy Ackby, there's quite a few out there that I was trying to place. Which ones have I seen? My memory, how good is it? How did they rate it? It was mixed. It was kind of all over the place. So it's time. It's time for me to review it. So, Laphroaig, 10-year-old Cask Strength. And I am going to give you some business on this. And part of Ralphie's, and I'm not going to call it a rant, just because he was doing pretty good with this, and then suddenly, and the Mark was doing this toward the end, it was here, and then it took a dive because he said, this is chill filtered, and it's not acceptable. So, I guess Ralphie said it. It doesn't say anywhere on here non-chill filtered, so I'm going with Ralphie. It's chill filtered. Okay. So we kick it a bit there because it's chill filtered. Coloring added, well, I'm going to pour it in the glass because I want you to be able to see it. And then we'll know if coloring's been added. But there's no need to add coloring to this. Not a Cask Strength. There's no need. So, has there been coloring added? I don't know. There's not very much. It's been in the cask 10 years, so I am going to show you both. First, let's just take a look at the bottle. There's your bottle. Okay, there's not much you're going to see in the bottle. It's a green bottle. That's Laphroaig. So there's no reason for them to want to color it because they got a green bottle. Okay? Batch 15. It is 56.5% Cask Strength. Now, there we are. So, well, might as well look for some legs while we're at it here, eh? So anyways, I don't know if we are actually seeing, any coloring in that. I don't know. It's not a dark whiskey. I don't see why they would add coloring. So anyways, it's not a big deal either way because it's really the chill filtering we're concerned about. Oh, legs. You should be able to see these legs. The legs are thick. It's not a watered down drink. No. So anyways, let's get on with this. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to let you know that I'm not reading history tonight because I'll put a link. I did a bunch of the Laphroaigs there earlier. I did the quarter cask here. I did the lore, the 10. anyways, and I gave a bit of history on Laphroaig, so I'll give you a link so if you want to check the history out. But I'm certain most of you can check that out on other channels too. So let's get into the nose. Medicinal notes, iodide. I've done a lot of reference in the earlier review to my my fish boat, my commercial fish boats. I had numerous. The packers that I ran. Packers are boats that pack fish. And I ran a few of the 90, 100-foot vessels up north, the last of the wooden 90, 100-footers. So, and you get a bit of this, I call it kind of a dirty smoke, and I do it in a good way, because when I say dirty smoke, it smells like, it could smell a little bit like a boat. In my case, I'd say in the forecastle of the boat, in the wheelhouse. So you're getting, and then you're out on the deck, there's going to be some deck smells. It's the salt in the air, it's the kelp, it is the iodine, and the smokiness. Well, there's some engine room stuff maybe even here. Maybe a wee bit of industrial, maybe there's some factory smells coming out of here, but there is some sweetness. So we're getting a mix of, typical of the Laphroaig. Smoky can be interpreted as a mix of almost a rubber mixed with, caramel and rubber. And it's kind of wandering a little here back to the iodine. Even a slight bit of floral came through there. Anyways, this was supposed to be a fast one tonight. This is a typical Laphroaig. It is. I think the whiskey lock, he was looking to get away from the sweetness, the heavy sherry influence and all that. He liked to see a little bit more of the original, the rough edges, which Laphroaig was famous for. So let's take a look at this and see. I have cheated. I have tasted this before, so but let's see what kind of analysis I can give it here. To the palate. There is some sweetness there. Compared to the last, I'd have to have the last bottle in front of me, but it's not a huge difference. There's definitely some sweetness there. Laphroaig, I've got a funny relationship with it. It's a love-hate relationship. There's just so many peated whiskeys out there, and these were the original. These are the ones that really got everybody into peat. I don't have a Lagavulin here. It must be in my cupboard there, but Lagavulin, Ardbeg, and then the island of Isla, and then you're getting into the Kalilas, and then you're getting into we're looking over at the Bowmore. We're looking over here toward the Port Charlotte. Basically, Isla kind of got this whole peat thing going, and then we can wander over. This here, nobody really knows for sure, but what was it? Adam down in Strath claimed that, this is what he told me, that it was a Kalila, but I think everybody's got their own theory on this one. It could be a Bowmore or whatever. The other ones to note were the Benrick. It's got a nice smoky 12. Of course, the Cask Orkney, we know that that's not the Scapa. We're Highland Park there. Then we get into stuff like Laphroaig. It's a lighter, and we know the Bullmore's lighter too. Basically, there's a lot of there's just a lot of peated whiskeys out there, but these guys were the first ones to really take off. So this is now I'm going to call a heavy hitter because we're getting into cask strength. And it does have, I call it that dirty smoke. So it has a tendency to, you know, I think the first I drank this, I'd already had Lagavulin and I'd already had Ardbeg. And when you hit the Laphroaig, that's where I got that sort of, God, this reminds me of my engine room. It reminds me of my rubber Haley Hansen gear, you know, fishing. I'm talking commercial fishing, you know, day after day after day, year after year. So those were just, that's what comes back to me. These are memories. That's how our nose and how our palate works. So, and that's how I've always related Laphroaig. I say dirty smoke. So there you are. Okay, let's get back and get focused on the palate. And I'm still getting the sweetness in this one here. So if Whiskey Lock looks at it, even a B+, and I'm going to say probably might have seen a bit of improvement over the previous batch. I'll be honest with you. I'm not noticing it as much as maybe he is, but I probably want to have it right next to me here and compare the two. So it's very close to the last batch. So I'm going to stay with the caramel notes, berries, maybe some blackberries. There's almost a bit of solventy stuff going on here. Certainly the medicinal, the iodine, kind of dominated on my first taste there, but it does have, you know, you should expect at 56, it's going to have some, you know, longer finish. So I am getting a bit of a coating on the mouth there, but dominating again. I feel the sweetness is still there, you know. Strong smoke, but still lots of sweetness to it. So let's go for the finish. Well, it's going to be definitely a medium long finish. And for some reason it's an enjoyable drink tonight. So there's, like I say, some of the reviews I saw, they were pretty nasty on this guy here, and some were right in the middle, and some were supporting, saying, you know, it's a decent dram. So I'm enjoying it. What can I be critical about? Comparatively speaking, when I first drank this, the very first time I had a Laphroaig was well over 12, 14, about 14 years ago maybe. So my memory of this drink, because it's not something I go to as often as, let's say, a Ardbeg or let's say a Lagavulin. I just, you know, I have to get to the cask strength. They become more disappointed in the 10. It's not what it, you know, it's not for me something that I would go to. In fact, I went to the quarter cask for some reason. I prefer it to the 10, but overall, the Lore probably is my sort of go-to if I'm going to have a Laphroaig or the quarter cask, you know. But this guy here, you know, it's been a while, and it's not bad, really. It has definitely the Laphroaig signature, and it should have a little bit of water, and let's see what happens with water. We'll give it a drop or two. I mean, I don't mind drinking this cask strength, but I also like to see what water is going to do to it. So let's do it. Let's give it see what opens up. And, you know, there, again, is so many peated whiskeys. And I started off drinking the heaviest. I got the Octomore. Oh, I don't have an Octomore out here. I never, but I got I had a little Octomore not more than a few weeks ago, but it was the 13.2, 13.3, yeah, something in that area. I've forgotten. I've got the 12 series and I got the 13. So, and I don't mind it either. It's got a nice. It's another sweet, very sweet. You know, 130 ppm. It's supposed to be the strongest of all the. I don't know. I find it's a good whiskey, and I don't know where they get the it being the strongest. Maybe because going into it, it's 130 ppm, but I've drank some pretty strong Ardbegs, so, and Laphroaigs, so in terms of ppm. Oh, we're really getting the medicinal notes now, and the caramel notes again, caramel. The berries, the fruit there, could be even, God, there's even apples going on here. Apples, and I haven't got rid of that rubber. I'm going to stay with the rubber. But where it was, you really noticed the caramel right off, you know, when I first palated this, it's the medicinal and the rubber, and then of course the smoke somewhere in between. Okay, with water, the palate. Again, the palate suddenly gives me the sweetness again, the caramel. Probably put a few more drops, it'd even be sweeter, but that's caramel, toffee, a few berries. I mean, I can be critical of this drink for the chill, you know, the chill filtering. I can be critical of it because of what I've learned from other reviewers. I can be critical of it in terms of what I've learned, period, in the years I've been drinking whiskey in general. But I just can't be critical in the taste of it here tonight. I find this a pleasant dram, and I just added a few drops of water. I'm enjoying this. So this is my palate. I'm not going to agree with everybody. I'm going to say that this is a presentable Laphroaig. Is it as good as past batches? Batches change. They don't stay the same. How do you get each batch to be consistent to the last batch? I mean, it's just not going to happen. I think this is a respectable Cask Strength Laphroaig 10. That's how I look at it. And it might not tick all the boxes in terms of, you know, chill, you know, the chill filtering. We want non-chill filtering in a whiskey. There's no need for it. Well, I agree. But this is also about what I think of the whiskey itself. So when I give it the mark, I always kind of include the price. I didn't pay a lot for this. It wasn't pricey. I also include, you know, what my palate's telling me. I don't want to get too far back in the history and compare and just say, oh, this just isn't what, you know, the last batch was. I just want to do what is happening today, what is happening right now, this moment. And I think this is a presentable whiskey, and I think it definitely deserves, you know, somewhere between an 84 and an 85, maybe an 85. You know, maybe that's where I'm going to stay, because I want to finish this. And that, to me, is a good sign. So I'm going to leave it at that. That's my review. I think this is a decent whiskey. I think it's at a decent price. I'm trying to remember what it is, but I'm certainly going to post it. And I think it was a good purchase, and I'm recommending it as a Laphroaig. You know, over, you know, some of the other Laphroaigs that are out there right now. Even the Cardius. I've had the Cardius, and I'll be honest with you, I probably prefer this. You know, so let's go with that. 85. And I'm going to ask you to drink wisely, drink intelligently, do not drink and drive. Until the next time, so much.